Record.
So, ladies, dear friends, good afternoon. Dear Katerina, thank you very much for the contribution. It's time to start, the second Impact Athena lectures for peace and stability. The motivation of this series of lectures is like to share a problem, but at the same time to discuss solutions, or to come with solutions at the end of this series of talks. We are not using politics. We are, the issue and the problem, the suggestion of the speakers, how an international network of universities, an international network of scientists, an international network of students as well, because this is going to be an exercise for our students in Crete, 127 students. They are going to be in Crete in this week in order to come also with their suggestions, because Europe, the world is for them. So they should make the suggestion by communication, not by fighting. At least, as we used to say, agree on what we disagree, not isolate ourselves and say, I don't want to work with you, or I don't want with you. This is not a solution. This is fanaticism for me. And I think that we should move away as possible. As Juliana said, and towards the end of her lecture, I keep this and I will keep it in the rest of my life. The pedagogy of forgiveness, and this is very important. Did you say this, Juliana? I think you said this. No?
Yeah, I mentioned that it's very interesting philosophy, but we have to take care and we have to be very careful in applying it. Yeah,
okay,
but that is very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I would like you to introduce the speaker. This is Dr. Katerina Boychenko. She is a research collaborator of Web2Learn, which is one of the partners of the Impact Project. She's she's also a professor in a university in Ukraine. Now is in Ukraine, Katerina, and you will tell us more about your university. And the title of her talk is Business, Academia, Resilience to Tackle the Ukrainian War. But before we start about the war, I would like to wish you me happy birthday in your language. Let's start with the host, like with Ukrainians colleagues.
Щиро вітаємо з днем народження.
Вітаємо.
Let's move now to Israeli friends.
יום הולדת שמח.
Okay. Do we have
Mazal tov.
Thank you. Do we have any other nationality? We have Yoren. Yoren is
No.
a Dutch. No?
In Arabic now. In Arabic.
In Arabic,
Eid Milad
yes.
Said. Eid
Excellent.
Milad Said.
So, Chronia Pola in Greece to all the people. And now is the time for Katerina. Thank you. I'm sorry. Portuguese. I'm sorry.
No, I won't say it right now. I won't say it.
Tell me, Carla. Carla, please.
Well, in Portuguese from Portugal is parabéns. But in Brazilian is os meus parabéns.
Ευχαριστώ, obrigada.
How do you say in Greek?
Χρόνια πολλά.
Chronia pola. Chronia pola.
Thank you. So
Elena can maybe Elena joined, maybe she can do it in Russian.
But she's Ukrainian, Elena. I think.
But she knows, I know she knows. Elena, תעשי לו מזל טוב באיזה שפה.
Днем рождения, Коста.
Costa. Okay.
And in Ukrainian, Dnem Narodzenia. Hi, Dnem рождения, Dnem Narodzenia. In Hebrew, we said, right? I'll remember the Polish.
In French, how do you say in French?
Felicidad, no?
No, felicidad in Spanish.
Spanish. Okay.
No,
Felicitación.
Okay. Thank you. But now back to business. And the floor is to Katerina Boychenko for her talk. Katerina, thank you again for your contribution. Very much appreciate, your input to this initiative. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Kostas, for invitation. I want to support, firstly, the previous speaker, Juliana Lavrish, that if you want to reach peace, you need to teach peace. And this is exactly truth. And Dear colleagues, friends, and partners, today I have the honor to stand before you with deep respect and gratitude for the opportunity to discuss a topic that has become extremely important for our country and I think the world as a whole. The Ukrainian people have been demonstrating incredible resilience and strength in the face of a war that ruthlessly destroys our cities, takes the lives of our loved ones, and challenges our independence. In these difficult conditions, we are not only learning to survive, but also seeking new opportunities for development and prosperity. And I'm Katerina Boychenko, and I have the honor of being a researcher of Web2Learn, a company from Greece that has formed a shield of support for Ukrainians with many significant projects such as Baltics for UA, Data for UA, Gramada, and more. And I'm proud to be a part of this great team. And I'm currently in the heart of Ukraine, Kyiv, and I'm an associate professor at the Department of Business Economics and Entrepreneurship at Kyiv National Economic University, named after Vadim Hetman. And today I want to share with you my vision of how business and academia in Ukraine can become key elements of our resilience and how international partnerships can take an invaluable contribution to this process. War was brought enormous challenges to each of us, destroyed businesses, lost jobs, damaged schools and universities, of course, and all of this creates difficult conditions for the normal functioning of our society. However, even in the darkest times, we see...
Excuse me, Katerina, for the interruption. Do you change slides?
No, I will start in a few seconds. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to emphasize the importance of education in shaping the resilience of our society. As we know, education is the foundation of on which we build our future. And in these difficult times, our universities continue to operate, adapting to new realities, and online learning, hybrid teaching models, and new approaches to educational programs. All of this helps us to ensure the continuity of education and the preparation of new specialists who will be able to rebuild our country after the war. And today my presentation has a plan consisting of three main key parts. And in the first part, I will tell you some of my own experience at Kyiv National Economic University and in Ukraine as a whole. And then we will go to a case of Baltics for UA project, where we have research about universities and business synergies for resilience. And the first part, the state and needs of business involvement in cooperation with universities during the war. I want to make some pause and for a moment and just think, even before the large-scale invasion began, Ukraine already had its challenges. The gap between higher education, coverage, and economic development, and over 70% of Ukrainians have higher education, but we ranked only 54th in the global competitive index. And I think, isn't that paradoxical? The war changed everything, and today Ukrainian business is fighting for survival and prosperity amidst a shortage of personnel. And can you imagine what that means? When the enemy threatens our future, we build it even more diligently. Businesses are joining forces with educational institutions to train new generations of specialists ready for tallest challenges. And they are already doing it successfully. And today I will give you many examples of such successful cooperation. But first, I would like to share my personal experience regarding the start of the war. Higher education institutions and Kyiv National Economic University too were in shock, because although we knew from media and so on that the war could start due to the ongoing hostilities in eastern Ukraine since 2014, and we were not practically prepared for it at the university. The first month of the war, we had forced holidays. During these holidays, we kept in touch with the students, and it was our mutual support. Unfortunately, there were reports of the deaths of some students and our colleagues who simply wanted to evacuate or volunteered for the front. But when, after that shocking month, we started online classes with students, it was very emotional, because we were all in different terrible conditions, but all of us tried to support each other, and it was an incredible experience as well. And speaking about business, a similar situation. Companies that could stop their activities froze them. Some evacuated their staff to Western Ukraine or abroad, and the relocation of business became a very popular concept. And I want to add some statistics. According to research by the European Business Association, at the beginning of the full-scale invasion, only 17% of domestic enterprises operated fully, only 17%. 30% of enterprises organized activities online or moved production to relatively safe Western and Central regions of the country. And only by September 2022, the majority, half of the domestic enterprises resumed full operations. So 50% of enterprises operated with some restrictions or particularly. And I also want to share with you the research results of the 4-in-a-Pipe project carried out by Kyiv Academic University in consortium with the University of Helsinki, the University of Redlingen, and the Zagreb School of Economics and Management, which analyzed the subjective perception of universities by businesses as potential source of innovation. And as you see that majority of business owners, they wanted to participate in discussions, planning, and some selections of recovery projects at the local and state levels. But at the same time, 79% of respondents don't participate in and are not aware of any entrepreneurship support programs in their local community or region. Business involvement in university unions, I need to add that imagine that only 10% of Ukrainian companies have joined initiatives with universities in the past 3 years. This is so little, even a small number of active projects can change the statistics. And why do you think this is? More than half of businesses don't know about the existence of entrepreneurship support programs in their communities. This is an incredibly important fact because it shows that the information gap becomes a barrier to the growth of innovative initiatives. Prospects for access to scientific expertise and R&D opportunities are rated extremely low by Ukrainian businesses. More than half of respondents gave the minimum score for the possibility of expanding the innovation ecosystem through cooperation with universities. Instead, it seems that dealing with universities for entrepreneurs means slightly improving their reputation and looking socially responsible. At the same time, about a third of the served businesses consider academic staff and students as consumers of their products and services. But there's another impressive figure, which we saw at the previous slide, that 81% of business representatives want to participate in Ukrainian's reconstruction at the local and state levels. And this means that there is a huge potential for cooperation that we are simply not utilizing. The research also showed that 61% of Ukrainian businesses rate access to scientific expertise and R&D opportunities at 1 point out of 5. Why is this happening? Perhaps due to a weak understanding of business processes in the academic environment, lack of incentives for cooperation or bureaucratic obstacles. But let's imagine that all of these can be overcome. And one of the most important things of our research is that with the support of EU structures and national governments, businesses are interested not only in young professionals, but also in innovative startups from universities. And for example, in USA or Germany, investment in startups and the purchase of patent licenses, and this is a normal situation. And can we achieve this level? I think absolutely. So our task for today is to build a bridge between business and academia, create conditions where every businessman knows about the opportunities for cooperation with universities, and every scientist is ready to offer their innovative solutions. And speaking about business and academia, how companies grow future leaders from student ranks, I want to tell you that due to the full-scale invasion, the situation in labor market has changed dramatically. And businesses have felt a shortage of personnel. And to win the competition for the workforce, grow qualified personnel for their needs, enterprises have begun to work more closely with educational institutions. We found out that 4 months of collaboration between education and business are currently being used in Ukraine and the world. With the start of the large-scale, full-scale invasion, the importance of cooperation between business and has increased, and currently most companies are experiencing a shortage of personnel due to military actions and a large wave of immigration. And therefore, if earlier employers preferred graduates, senior students, and part-time students, now the situation has changed. The age has become younger, and employers are ready to consider candidates who have just started the studies. And Ukrainian companies mainly use traditional forms of cooperations, which involve engaging senior students for internship and industrial practices at enterprises. For example, internship with the prospects at employment are offered by Astarta and Nova Poshta, and banks also actively take students for practice. And for example, today, Oshchad Bank has several agreements with higher educational institutions for cooperation and student internship, and these are mostly specialized universities that train specialists in banking, finance, and economics. And overall, despite the war, enterprises continue to actively interact with universities. However, with the start of the full-scale invasion, the format of student practice had to be modified in some ways. For example, ArcelorMittal Kryvyi Rih, with the start of the full-scale invasion, created an online practice course, and many other big companies made the same practice online. And the company also has the GoPro internship program, where students can officially get a job before their graduation. Of course, we found out how Ukrainian enterprises cooperate with universities and other educational institutions. For example, the multinational company IBM provides universities with free access to its equipment, full software packages, specialized courses, and books. And IBM staff also take part in our lectures, seminars, and another World Tech giant, Huawei, makes considerable efforts to organize effective cooperation with YATH. Huawei made such educational program, Seeds for the Future, which annually involves the best students for leading universities studying cloud computing, cybersecurity, digital power, and more. And this is a real opportunity for paid internship at the company for the best participants in the program. And this year, 21 students from leading Ukrainian universities participated in the Huawei Ukraine program. In 9 such higher educational institutions, Huawei Information and Network Technology Academies have been established, where future graduates have a unique chance to take certification courses, particularly in artificial intelligence, big data, and the Internet of Things. And the program provides students with many advantages, such as opportunity to learn about industry trends first, acquire modern knowledge in the field of information and communication technologies, and also undertake internship at Huawei Ukraine. And of course, another format of cooperation between educational institutions and businesses in Ukraine is dual education, which combines classroom theory with online job training. And for example, one of the huge Ukrainian companies, MHP, Mironivsky Хлібопродукт, has dual education projects involving 25 educational institutions, more than 300 students, from which the company selects the best for employment in their fields of study. And of course, another example is the tech, which also implements the dual education project for students of energy specialties in the 2nd and 4th year partner institutions. And some of them then receive invitations for permanent work in company. So this is great opportunities for our students and for collaboration between academia and business. And I want to show you a little picture and video about our experience at Kyiv National Economic University. This year we have we organized a startup school at KNEU, and I think that in majority of the university have the same startup schools, which also made big opportunities for our students. And speaking about our startup school, I want to share the main thing that at the beginning, more than 30 business representatives took part in this program, and they were involved as mentors, as judges, as sponsors and investors, of course. And the Ukrainian Startup Fund became a powerful information sponsor, and many such startup schools were created during the war, not only at our university, but other universities created the same startup schools and before war, but during the war it became more popular. And of course, and of course, we have another good practice at our university. This is our International Forum Science Business Education, which became a great platform for majority of another universities and businesses. And for over a decade, CNEO has been a powerful platform for interesting discussions, promising projects and effective forms of university and business partnership. This year, we continue to consolidate science, business, and education for victory, and the restoration of Ukraine on the part of business. The desire for cooperation is strengthening, and most higher education institutions are quite conservative structures that are slow and quite cautious about new methods of cooperation. And before the war, most educational institutions were conservative and didn't show actively didn't show a big activity regarding cooperation with business. But due to the destruction of buildings, due to hostilities and the loss of applicants who decided to get an education abroad, educational institutions are increasingly showing interest in cooperation with business too. And educational institutions are beginning to see business as partners who can not only help restore infrastructure and the necessary materials and technical base, but also modernize educational programs by enriching them with business cases and the use of modern technological tools, thus bringing students closer to real life. And of course, increasing the competitiveness of Ukrainian higher education institutions in the eyes of future students. Perhaps the most important thing we see now is change in consequences, and universities that were previously conservative are now opening their doors to business. They see in business partners capable of not only helping to restore infrastructure, but also modernize educational programs. And we live in an era of great changes and great opportunities. That war has shown us that we are stronger than we thought. And cooperation between education and business is not just a tool for overcoming challenges, but it is a path to creating a new future. And I think that a future where Ukrainians' talents can flourish and change the world. And also, I want to share with you some experience of our research with my esteemed colleagues Katerina Zhuru and Stefania Economou from Web2Learn. the synergy of Baltics universities and business for enhanced resilience. This research is a part of Baltics for UA project aimed at supporting Ukraine by engaging citizens in Baltics universities. And our world is experiencing unprecedented challenges, as I said earlier, and this project made a big difference for Ukrainians who are in Baltic countries. I won't stop for a long time to the objectives of this project, and of course you can see at the next slide our partners, but I will tell the main things, the main results of our outcomes from our research. So in totally, our approach to analyzing cooperation between academic institutions and businesses in the Baltic region, especially in times of crisis, is based on a qualitative framework focused on case studies. And this allowed us to gain a deeper understanding of the dynamics and impact of such cooperation on resilience and innovation. Because a lot of our students and other Ukrainians moved abroad, and for example, to Baltics countries. And of course, I hope that this will be a good case for you to show how business and academia collaborated in these times, crisis times. And of course, in total, we carefully examined 26 cases, which were selected to represent diverse collaboration models, sectors, and challenges they faced. This provided us with a broad overview of collaborative efforts and understanding of how they impact the ability of society to adapt and innovate in response to the crisis. And using the optimized topology of Vytautas Magnus University, we expanded the categories of social support actions to 8 defined types, giving us a structure for classifying and analyzing support initiatives. And this approach allowed us to delve deeply into the specifics of cooperation between business and academic institutions in the Baltic region. And by 2024, the number of innovative cases had decreased to 2, which may indicate that as the crisis intensity decreased, the need for innovative solutions also diminished, or perhaps the most important innovations had already been implemented and continue to be used without the need for additional ones. At the same time, the number of other cases decreased to 12, and this may indicate overall stabilization or a reduction in new initiatives, possibly due to reduce urgent needs or a shift to more sustainable long-term forms of support rather than new initiatives. And the reduction in the number of both innovative and other cases from 2023 to 2024 may reflect various factors, including the evolution of the crisis, changes in funding or focus of corporate support, or the integration of the most effective actions in the standard practices, reducing the need for new cases. And it is also possible that as the situation develops, the type of support required will change, and thus the categorization of initiatives as innovative may change over time. In 2023, data indicate the concentration of efforts of certain institutions, with Vilnius University leading with 5 initiatives, followed by Riseba University of Applied Sciences with 4 initiatives. In 2024, the distribution of initiatives appears more evenly spread among different universities, with each institution indicated as involved in 1 initiative, except for the University of Tartu with 2 initiatives, and Vilnius University, which remains active with 3 initiatives. And this regional response not only highlights the ability of Baltic countries to mobilize and innovate in times of need, but also set a precedent for how cross-sectoral cooperation can be a powerful tool in overcoming crisis situation. And the experience gained from these case studies can serve as a valuable resource for other regions and countries seeking to improve their crisis response mechanism through strength, business and academics partnerships. I'm a lack of time, or can I continue? Great. So the analysis conducted reveals patterns of engagement, shifts in focus, and the dynamics of universities' responses to crisis, as evidenced by their joint efforts. And in 2023-2024, the data reflects significant university involvement in such cooperation. For example, Vilnius University led with 5 initiatives demonstrating a firm commitment to leveraging academic resources in partnership with industry to address the crisis in Ukraine. And Riseba University of Applied Sciences followed with 4 initiatives showing a proactive stance in responding to the crisis and building resilience. And the University of Tartu and Vaitas Magnus University also showed notable participation with 2 and 1 initiative respectively. And data for 2024 show a significant reduction in the number of initiatives at almost all institutions, with Vilnius University's participation reducing to 3, and the University of Tartu being the only institution that increased its participation from 1 to 2 initiatives. And this suggests that University of Tartu may have developed a sustainable model of business and academic cooperation that allowed it to not only maintain but also increase its activity in this area. Meanwhile, institutions such as the Estonian Academy of Arts, Riseba University, and Vaitas Magnus University didn't maintain the activity level of the previous year, which may indicate a shift towards consolidation and continuation of existing projects rather than initiating new ones. Through open innovations, businesses and universities have created platform for experimental learning and the practical application of theoretical knowledge. And the Future of Wood, for example, initiative promoted in international cooperation and applied learning in sustainable development, which is expected to have long-term educational benefits. It also illustrates how academic institutions can respond to real-world crises with flexibility and creativity. The TalTech book fair project not only provided financial assistance, but also promoted literacy and learning, emphasizing the importance of continuous education. The Garage 48 Defense for Ukraine project harnessed the collective energy of various sectors to foster innovation in high-stakes contexts. It demonstrated how universities could be at the forefront of developing war-related solutions. And these initiatives exemplify how open innovations can strengthen academic resilience by giving students and faculty the opportunity to directly engage with contemporary issues, enriching their educational experience and preparing them for future challenges. And the next slide about University of Tartu, the Center for Applied Social Research at the University of Tartu, in collaboration with the Praxis think tank, conducted a detailed study of the experiences and sentiments of Ukrainian refugees. And this research aimed to understand refugees' needs, coping skills and intentions regarding returning to Ukraine. Such data are crucial for developing informed support strategies and policies. And these initiatives reflect the broad spectrum of support that academic institutions and communities can provide during crisis, extending beyond the classroom to society as a whole. And for example, at Vilnius University, we have Korgas, which demonstrated solidarity with Ukraine on Independence Day, August 24, by lighting the central facade of Vilnius University with the Ukrainian flag. And this was very symbolic act, sent a powerful message of support and unity. And the 1K aid fund facilitated the donation of over than 500 children's books to Ukrainian children, enriching their cultural and intellectual experience during difficult times. And the event took place at the House of Writers of the Faculty of Philosophy of Vilnius University. And for example, the next slide about which result of our research we had. We emphasize the multi-phased contribution of such cooperation in addressing urgent needs and laying the foundation for sustainable development, particularly dynamic partnership ecosystem, innovation and resilience, resilience because central to this initiative is the pursuit of innovation and resilience. And despite a noticeable decrease in the number of innovative cases in 2023-2024, the enduring nature of the initiated projects indicates a shift towards sustainable long-term solutions. And these efforts not only provided immediate support, but also strengthened the region's capacity to overcome future adversities. And of course, we have diversity of impact and support and solution of cooperation and about recommendations for future efforts. I want to add that the obtained previous slides shows that we can suggest the necessity of continuing to focus on formalizing partnerships, inclusivity in planning, and of course, implementation and commitment to iterate evaluation, and shaping best practices and lessons learned with enhance the response to future crises. strengthening the invaluable value of business and academia collaboration in fostering innovation, resilience, and societal well-being. And of course, I move to conclusions of this research, and the Baltic universities and businesses have showcased the exploratory model of resilience and innovation. And of course, our analysis reveals adaptive responses. For example, initiatives ranged from financial support and psychological aid to educational and employability programs, illustrating the diverse and adaptive responses to the crisis. Strategic collaboration, of course, the collaboration between Hayes and the businesses were strategic and leveraging institutional strengths, resource availability, and the unique nature of partnerships to create impactful solutions. And of course, sustained commitment, because entities like Vilnius University and the University of Tartu emerge as central figures, demonstrating sustained commitment to innovation and support. And of course, evolving initiatives, because while the number of innovative cases decreased during the research period, it highlighted a shift towards the integration of effective actions into standard practices and a focus of sustainable long-term support. And speaking about recommendations for the future, I want to add that for ongoing and future resilience, it is recommended to formalize partnerships, engage affected communities, initiative planning, commit to continuous program evaluation, and of course, share best practices widely. And these findings underscore the significant impact of academia-business partnerships in fostering resilience, providing a crucial support during the crisis and contributing to societal well-being. And speaking about international partnerships, I want to add that, of course, they are a key factor in ensuring our resilience, and they not only provide us with necessary financial and technical support, but also open new opportunities for cooperation, knowledge exchange, and experience sharing. And the partnership with Web2Learn is example of how international collaboration can contribute to the development of education and business in Ukraine and in other countries. And our joint projects aim to support innovative approaches to learning, the development of digital skills, and the preparation of new specialists capable of facing future challenges. And at the end of my talk, I want just to say that I believe that together we can overcome all the difficulties and challenges that lie ahead of us, and our efforts and our work will bear fruit, and we will see Ukraine as a strong, independent, and prosperous country where everyone has the opportunity to realize their potential and live in peace and prosperity. Thank you sincerely for the invitation. Thank you all for your support and for your work. And I hope that together we can achieve anything. Thank you so much.
Katerina, thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have some questions and some suggestions. If you stop sharing your screen, it will help me. I would like, first of all, I would like to share something with that my colleague Ignatiadis, Panagiotis Ignatiadis has shared with us. It's like available through the Athena Grant Office. I think it's very important to announce this kind of events. And you can see there is a conference. Panagiotis, if you would like to switch on your mic, that is like Power Up Ukraine conference, and you can see a lot of activities that we can do, register in order, to promote this support from various kind of aspects. I think that, the link is already available on the chat, so have a look, and probably, this is a very good initiative to initiate other things as well. So let me, did I share my screen, what I'm doing now? No, okay, I have a lot of, no, okay. So check it, and probably this is very one of your interests, because support of one country and of one region can provide support to other regions as well. I have some questions, but before I ask, the floor is yours if you would like to ask, or do you want me to initiate? Bracha, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Katerina. My question is, all these initiatives that you mentioned, or some of them, were they local? That means from a certain institution with the industry, or with other partners, or was it something from the national point of view?
Thank you for your question, for your interest at all. Of course, for example, that startup school that I presented, or another initiatives, there are local at universities, but I think that every university planned that in the future it will be shared to another partners, and some networks will be made. And of course, for example, I was talking about our startup school, but I want to add that at University of our previous speaker, Juliana Lavrish, Kyiv Polytechnic Institute, they have the biggest startup institution, yes, in Ukraine. And of course, I think that, for example, such big and experienced institutions can make huge networks because they have more experience than, for example, but we can be connected. And I think that in unity is our future and our power.
Excellent. Katerina, I have a question. Like, what kind of collaboration you have received as a university, or what kind of collaboration you have established as a university with other universities in Europe, like in education, in research, but as a university? Now I'm going more to university resilience, and I will go back to the business university resilience, as you mentioned. But as a university, what kind of collaborations you have achieved, and what you would like to have, more?
Thank you for your question. Of course, our university has a big number of partners and other universities in Europe and other countries and USA and so on. But we today are speaking about collaboration between business and academia. I want to add that I was impressed because when after the full-scale invasion, our students went abroad. Some of my students, because I'm the head of magister program business economics, and I communicated with all the students during this period, and I was impressed because businesses, companies, international companies that have the main office in Europe, they invited our students to their offices practice. And it was a big step for our children, for our students to have some stability in Europe at these crisis times, and to have a work in the future. And it was great to listen to their experiences when they had defenses of their thesis.
Excellent. So I will keep that. Some of the, so your students move on abroad, and some of them, they have been hired for this period in big European or, SMEs in companies in Europe, no?
Yes, of course.
And but as a the universities, the universities in Europe, do you offer? I know that there's some Polish universities. At least this is my information from the Marie Curie. They offered also bachelors, to continue their bachelor in Poland. I mean, probably this is because of the proximity, because of the you are very close to them, and probably there is no language barriers. But how do they teach them in Ukrainian? Do they teach them in English? Or your language is so similar with the Polish, so you can communicate? Do you have such examples in order to be able to understand how the international network? I mean, of course, the universities in Europe, they can offer the training. We have laboratories that, they can come and they can do the training in our laboratories. You can use the research facilities that we have in Europe, and we have the grants for them to travel for a week, do the experiments, the consumables, we cover them in order to go back. But this is like very short mobility. It's like, what kind of, international programs do they offer in order to continue their studies, if this is possible, because sometimes they should go back to the army, I suspect.
Yes, of course. Of course, we have a great experience in this way, because a lot of universities, all our partners in the first days of full-scale invasion, sent us some invitations for our students, for our colleagues, and most of them were who was abroad. They could continue study at our university. At the same time, they can start education at another university. For example, our partner, Warsaw School of Economics, as you know, Polish language and Ukrainian are very similar, and it has not such a big language barrier for our people, for our students to continue their educational process in this Warsaw School of Economics. This is one of the examples.
Hi.
Katerina and Juliana, now I have a second question. Do you have examples of virtual exchanges as a courses? Like, do they offer online courses? I'm asking this because probably our network, I don't know what we can do, but probably this could be a proposal. Do you have offers of courses in English in order to cover, for example, the lack of staff in some specific staff in your university? Do we have such a cases?
Yes, of course. We invited our colleagues from our partners' universities to conduct, to make some lectures, seminars, not all courses. For example, at my program, but at the university, this practice was very successful.
So if you have any needs, can you please disseminate these needs in order to disseminate in our network and in our European university? Because here we are a network of people that we can help each other from various universities, but also have the European universities that I think that instead of talking, if we know your needs, that we need, these courses, and you can offer it online in English. This is something that we can do. This is their mission as well. If you have this kind of needs, my university, it's not mine, it's a public university. Do you understand what I mean? Hellenic Mediterranean University, I think that we can contribute with some courses in English as a real, this happens, to all regions, Israel and whoever, have a need. We can offer some courses online in order, to help to resolve some situations. We can give you some time and, the funding in order to do part of your experiments in our laboratories, in specific laboratories, like in the printed electronics and the CPAC, in semiconductors, that we have the funding in order to cover, talented scientists for, to do the experiments. But courses online in English, please make me a list that we have a lack of staff there. And, seminars, lectures, or even courses, I will do my best, to do it.
I'm very grateful for you.
I'm here also by the accident. I'm here with, a vice rector from Peloponnesus, because we have this national meeting of international and public relations office all over Greece and Cyprus, and she represents UNIS, another alliance. So this list of needs is going to be disseminated, because I think for the alliance, this is the purpose. I repeat, instead of talking bullshitting. I'm recording
Thank you
now,
so
but I
much
believe,
from the deep of my heart. Thank you.
yes, do it, but do it. Okay.
I want to make a comment.
Right, Panagiotis, the floor is yours, but always the camera is off. I don't know why, but go
Okay,
ahead.
just to save some bandwidth, Katerina, thank you very much. I just like to comment in one of your previous slides. I think it was the third or fourth before the end, where you presented the collaborations that you had or Ukrainian universities had with businesses. So if you go back to this slide, we will notify that most of the collaborations that you had, either as a country or as a university, basically it was from neighbor countries. I think I remember only Stockholm University, that it was, let's say, in the Western world. All the others, I think it was from the, let's say, from the former Soviet Union regime. I'm saying that for two reasons, because of course we must not forget that Ukraine is a candidate country, so which means that probably from the next framework program, the European budget should support Ukraine. Okay, we should bear that in mind. Okay, so which means that all of the big money that is going now to the existing EU countries, part of it will go also to Ukraine. Okay, and this part will be deducted from the already existing European countries. But what they found out is that also a lot of countries which, let's say, belong to the former Soviet regime, like Bulgaria, Romania, Latvia, so countries which are not in war, okay? They behave like the same. So a lot of businesses, a lot of university professors, they have this Soviet style thinking, okay? So
Yeah.
instead of, is what Kostas was saying before. So if you have some good students, okay, we know that you have very good competence, for example, let's say in defense in Ukraine. European universities.
Panagiotis, at this stage also, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Panagiotis also works for the region of Crete. So probably, the region of Crete as an island can, contribute on this. Panagiotis, please go ahead.
Yes, so what I'm trying to say is that if we are talking about, let's say, a lot of people know these countries as widening countries. So apart from Greece and Portugal, most of them, they are, let's say, from the former Soviet Union bloc. So they did a study with all these programs that they are now financing through the widening program. And they found out that most of these countries, they still persist into this Soviet style. So we tend to collaborate with our peers from the Soviet Union and not from the rest of Europe. Okay, and one evidence of this is, if you go back to your slide, you will see that when you presented with which universities or which businesses you have collaborations, still most of them, they were from Estonia, they were from Latvia. So we need to bear that in mind, because if we know that newcomers like Ukraine or Moldova or even Georgia will still behave like Romania or Bulgaria, means that we have to find another way of promoting universities, promoting entrepreneurship in order to encompass them into the European area, and not so to think like Europeans and not like, let's say, former Soviet Union style. So what Costa was saying, if you have talent, then trying to match this talent with funding or with competencies in the rest of Europe, because this would be a mix, okay, that will spark your economy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you, Panagiotis. And also, Katerina, I checked that you are doing a lot of hackathons, if I understood well, between your companies and your students. I think probably, you know, foreign students also, they can be involved, if you don't mind, in order to provide the communication between your local students and students, let's say, of impact, that we have, you know, a lot of students that they are getting involved, in order also the students to provide, you know, this innovation, and your students to communicate their needs, because these are young people and they can communicate very fast. And this also can be something that we can establish. Take, you know, this into the consideration. We are here just to provide. I'm talking also to Juliana and to Katerina and all of us. Like, if you need, you know, if you have a need of courses, anything related to the university, research, education, engagement of students, I think that this is the purpose of what we are doing. Just express, and we need to do something concrete. That is not only presentations that we are doing, but we would like, you know, to collaborate in order to help each other, because this happens now there in the Middle East, in Ukraine. But, you know, we are a network of academics that we need to communicate in order to overcome these barriers. This is the mission of a university. And I have a last question, Katerina, and we finish. I know all of you now, I kept you too much. You mentioned about a think tank. Somewhere you mentioned the word think tank. Can you please elaborate? Which law? What is a suggestion? Is a collection of ideas? How to collaborate? What it was like this think tank?
It was collaboration with fund, university and funding institution, and they had success because they made some type of research which helps them to understand the needs of refugees, their some psychological maybe types of all, or mental needs of students who came from Ukraine and, for example, studied at this university. So this was just their collaboration for research.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so thank you, all of you. I don't know if there are any questions, any other questions. If this is not the case, I will thank Katerina, again, Juliana and Katerina, and then, you know, next week, you know, our Israeli colleagues as well. But we have one more from Ukraine, one more from Vodiri. What was it? It's a very, you know, over there, the situation is very tough. To speak about, you know, their needs, what they are doing, what are kind of actions do they request, you know, collaboration. Until, you know, this moment, take care, and with some of you, speak you soon. And thank you, Tatiana, for the wishes. I'm waiting now actions, chocolate. And Nava for the pictures. I just check, you know, in one. All right, thank you, and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Katerina. Thank you, Kostas.
Thank you all.
Just, you know, like, stop recording.